This conversation is worth sharing with anybody who can hear. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. This is a conversation that, granted, will change our lives, all of us, if we implement what we are hearing come out of this conversation. There's something that has shocked me. I'm realizing what you have shared in the previous video was that even though you had an income, you shared that yes, an income is necessary, but even though you had an income, it was the mindset. And when you talked about the example of that young man, he didn't even have an income. He didn't have an income, but some sort of money entered, but he had the right mindset for multiplication. We're going to talk about multiplication a bit later on. But Pius, I'd like to hear from you. For you, when did this thing begin?
I used to go to a church called Nairobi Lighthouse Church. And there was a gentleman there. You probably seen him on social media. It's called Amos Ngahu. Yeah.
He talks about money.
He talks about money. He was just starting. Nobody knew him then. Very young consultant. And he was like, Pius, I need to come and talk to you about money and finances. I was a CFA charter holder. I was a CPA finalist. I mean, seriously. I had all the answers. Yeah. My training was money. Yeah. But something inside me told me, just listen. So I invited him at home. He came home. We made a cup of tea for him, and we sat down on the dining table, and he started asking us deep questions about our finances. He even gave us homework to do our family balance sheet, and that exercise really captured me, because as I started doing that, I even realized I had forgotten that we had some assets. You know, and that also made me realize what you do not keep track of, you can actually lose it. It can be stolen.
Yes.
It can be stolen. And there are so many people who have lots of assets, but they are like stolen. You know.
An asset, for clarification, what is it?
Something you own, a piece of land, or something you hope that will make money for you is what you call an asset. It will put cash into your pocket. Anything that puts cash in your pocket is an asset. And anything that removes cash from your pocket is what people call a liability.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, that exercise triggered me to enter into a journey to reflect on our family finances. And we sat as a family and we asked ourselves, what is the biggest risk we face as a family? And it was right there in front of us. My wife was employed and I was employed. And we imagined a scenario where if we both lost our jobs, or one of us lost their jobs, then it would be terrible for our family, because especially if we both lost our jobs, where do you go from there? You have children. You probably go back to your parents' house, you go and ask for some refuge, And that's not something that we wanted to entertain. So we asked ourselves then, what do we do? And the answer was very simple. Assume we lost the biggest income. How would we live? And we said we would have to live on the smaller income. So from that day forward, we said we will be living on that small income, the smallest income that was coming into our family. And the bigger one, we'll assume we don't even get it. And that is what we began paying ourselves with.
Okay. You have used the word. That, first and foremost, just say thank you to that man, the one who gave you the mind shift.
Thank you, Amos.
You have used the word called pay yourself first.
Yes.
But I want to come back here. you were educated. You were a CFA charter holder. And people in that world understand how high that is.
Yes.
You are in this finance world of investing.
Yes.
You had bought assets,
Yes.
but you still hadn't had the mind shift.
Yes.
I want you to, this video I know is going to make people have that mind shift. But right now, if you were to talk to somebody, what can you say to them for them to have that mind shift? And then we go into this conversation about pay yourself first.
I think one of my biggest realization is that financial literacy has nothing to do with formal education. I have seen many doctors, I've seen many engineers, I've seen the sharpest minds that I've ever come across, but they have no financial literacy. Not just that, I've seen many people in our industry,
Me included.
investment professionals.
You remember my story?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Even me, where I was. As much as we had all this knowledge on money, financial literacy is some form of street wisdom. It's a survival skill that you need. It's an instinct to live and to go through seasons of life and keep ascending. And that's something that I would want to say everybody needs to humble themselves. Put aside all the knowledge you have, all the degrees you have, and come back and look at things in a very simple fashion. For us, the thing that opened our eyes was, if we both lost our jobs, what would happen to our family? And that became a starting point of my journey in financial literacy. And everything that we have spoken after that and we are speaking right now started from that point. Yeah.
Rina, what about you? What would you say to somebody? We're about to go into the next level, and I want to transition with the people in the car, because it's a journey that we're on. So what would you, just speak to somebody before we enter the next conversation, what would you say to them at this point of the journey as they're hearing you, to trigger them, hopefully to trigger them?
Yeah. I think one of the things that I hear a lot of people say that I interact with is, I don't earn enough. I'm not from a rich family. I'm in so much debt. When am I even going to be able to start? Now, for me, the people who have impacted me most in my financial literacy journey have been those who are low income earners. Like, honestly, when I look at the people who've worked for us, when I look at like the tea girl at our office some time ago, there's a gentleman I talk about all the time called Kibewa Mei. When I look at the student that I mentioned earlier, those are the people I've been like, Azim, like, how have you done this? There's somebody who shared a story with me, and he said how he used to go visit his wife at work, and they moved for different reasons. But one time they had moved offices, and he went to this office in Kilimani. When he got there, the person who opened the gate was just such a nice guy. He was a KK security guy. Let's call him.
Have some water?
Yes, please.
Yes, have some water. We're not stopping to roll.
Okay.
So people know that we're not re-editing.
Okay. So he was a security guy let's call him Wafula. So Wafula opens the gate and welcomes him. Hey, good morning. How are you? Karibu sana, park your car. Where are you going? What office? What floor? And they start chatting, chit-chatting. They get to the foyer of the building. He presses the lift and watches my friend walk in, and he says, have a great day, and Wafula goes back. He went to the wife's office and said, who was that? Right? Who was that? Like, I've never, just think about your experience, especially when you're not driving a big car. Unafanya nini hapa? Weka gari pale. It's just not very kind, right? So when he got to his wife's office and expressed his joy, his wife said, you don't even know the half of it. us guys, this guy is a resident pastor, resident counselor. I mean, there's sometimes I don't want to let go of him. We go into the lift together and he walks me to my office. Anyway, he's just a very nice gentleman. So anyway, this story is going somewhere. This guy one day comes to the building and tells people, oh, it's been so nice, but God is calling me to a different job. Okay, and they were like, "What are you talking about? You're going to leave us?" And he said, "Yes, I've been called to start a church somewhere in Kibera, and this is what I want to do. And so, beginning X month, I'm not going to be coming." They were like, "Oh my gosh!" The building came together. These are different offices. They came together and said, "We need to throw this guy a farewell. We need to contribute something to him." These people bought him his pews for the church. They contributed for his transition. Like, you can imagine, it's like a pension. Are you understanding me? So what I'm saying is, it's not about the money that you have or that's coming in. It's in who are you as a person? What are your values? What are your beliefs? How do you treat other people? Sometimes we think, oh, I need to make so much money so that I can. Do you know you can meet an employer who decides he's going to pay for all your children to go to Harvard? You know what I mean? You can get a scholarship for doing things that are done amazing. So it's not just about money. So it's about our attitudes, how we behave, what our mindset looks like. And so what do you have in your hand? What opportunity do you have right now? And you're just ngevying, I'm sorry to use that word, but you're not working hard. You have an opportunity on, I don't know, Candy Crush and doing other things. You're not working well. So whatever God has placed in your hand for you to do, do it with excellence. Even that is currency. So what am I saying? At bottom line, it's not about what is coming in. Yes, that's important. It's what you do with what's coming in. What's coming in could be time, it could be influence, it could be networks, it could be shillings and cents. Whatever that is, it could be a gift that you have that you're not using because, you know, for whatever reason. And so wherever it is that you're at, just do an assessment. What are my abilities? What are my talents? How can I leverage these to get better, to do more, so that then I have the opportunity to have more. You know, it's about what are you doing with what you have, because when you do well with what you have and you multiply what you have, by the way, you get given more.
I need to latch on that. I need to latch on that.
Latch on that.
Because I feel it sort of also helps us to complete the redefining of success. And how I see success, it has three components: people, cash flow, and time. And they are all interrelated.
Cash flow?
People,
meaning?
Cash flow,
Income, money coming in.
I'll come to that just now. But let me start with people, because Wafula, even when you share the story, it touches my heart. Today what you call the richest 1%, who I think last year were owning about 45.6% of all global wealth, just 1% of global population. They have one thing in common. All of them are doing something great for humanity. All of them, without exception. In fact, Elon Musk will say, I've had Elon Musk, he does not own a yacht, does not even own a home. All his money is in Tesla and SpaceX to solve big global problems. The whole idea about success is not me and my bills. Is not you and your bills. Is about how that wealth will change everything for many people. It's about impact. Your needs are too small. And because we are powered by God, whether we like it or not, God does not power selfish ambitions, you know. So we need to rewire our thinking about where we are creating wealth. It's not a self-serving thing, but it's a people-serving thing. If you go back to the story of Wafula, he had a gifting, a gifting with people, a gifting of touching, of servicing people. There was of caring people, of ministering to the people in that building. So he was touching people in that building. What happened next? It affected his cash flow.
That's so deep.
Now, you will notice I have moved very tactfully from the word money to cash flow.
What is, I know you're going to explain
When
it.
you think about cash flow, I want you to think about a river. There's inlet and there's outlet. When people think about wealth, they think about themselves and their families. They form a dam where money flows in but does not flow out. But when money is, because these are fundamental principles of life. When a river flows in but does not flow out, you end up with Dead Sea.
Yep.
Dead Sea has no living animal can live in Dead Sea. And we don't have enough, we cannot build enough dam to hold all the blessings that God can pass through you. So you only get very little just to serve your purpose. But if you really want to break through, there must be an inlet and an outlet, meaning cash flow, cash flowing in and out.
Is that why it's called currency?
Yes,
And it
that's
is
why it's called currency.
You get it?
Because it flows.
Yes, it flows. So this Wafula ministered to people, touched people's lives. And because of that, he didn't even need to talk to anybody. He just said, I'm leaving. And they said, no, we're not going to let you go just like that. We're going to throw a farewell. But I'm sure they were not just throwing a bash where they eat and they leave. They were going to put cash in his hands.
Yep.
Cash flow.
Oh. Wow.
So cash was flowing into him, and he was going to start a church where cash was going to flow out. So the guy has set himself up in a big way for big success. Now, this is where it gets interesting. When cash is flowing in and out, then you stop worrying that one day you'll be poor, because it's a river that flows in and out, and therefore your hands open and you're able to continue touching the lives, because when it goes out, cash goes out, it touches people. You get it? And the more it is touching people, the more it is
So just clarify.
coming in.
The out is not to my expenses.
The expenses are too small. Your expenses are too small.
Too small. I'm giving and impacting people.
Exactly. Because remember, you can only go as far as the horizon you see. If the horizon you see is your expenses, then it's too close.
So now, Pius, let me just tell you, sometimes it's overwhelming. I'm now at the stage where we have a teenager, we're going to high school, and all that jazz. Yeah. And there's just expenses, right? Hey, and then, want to buy a house, and there's all these things. And so you can get consumed by the needs of life.
By our needs.
Our needs.
Yes.
Sasa.
How do you move from there?
Yes.
Exactly.
Wait, we're coming back. Tunarudi. Share this one. We'll be back in a bit.